Hello, hello, and welcome along to episode 70-something. 75 of Beldania. Unfortunately, Josh can't be with us today. He is off. I don't know. What's he doing? He's playing Jack in the Box with Jordan Sparks in Japan. And therefore isn't present. But today I have playing with me Bruno.
Hi, I'm playing Rosania Veselor, Circle of Stars Druid.
I have Jamel.
Hi guys, Jamal here. Gonna be playing Kyavo, our Resident Order of the Scribes Leonin Wizard.
I have Rico.
That's me, and I'm playing Torin Goldenbrand, the Dragonborn Paladin.
And I have Joe.
So that would be me, and I play Hennick Littlefield, Halfling Farmer and Bard.
And when we left off last session, you had completed the 21st way of the path in Eastern Yukon. A trial of magic understanding. And you departed across the jungles of Yukon, noting that most of them had been flattened by the earth, the very earth themselves attacking Yuan-ti live within Yukon. Much of the trees that had attacked the Yuan-ti were often housed tree houses that Yuan-ti lived in. So if you imagine the violence of that, the very tree built in, smashing into your people. And as such, the small villages and towns of Yukon have not even been rebuilt, been left scattered messes in the areas of the swamp have overflowed. Traversing this area would normally be quite difficult. I'm assuming that you've done most of it as clouds and then slightest. On which note could I take, please, a oh, for goodness sake. Rosania, your casting modifier thing, check.
What modifier thing check?
Yeah, that thing. Spellcasting attribute. Druid. Wisdom check, please. A wisdom check.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
And likewise for Kyavo, you're casting Circle of Crystals on a stone, was that right? Circle of Crystals? No, it's not. It's Hennick, you're casting Tongues on a stone.
Yes.
Take a charisma check, please.
Mine is actually 15, not
Oh.
22.
Okay, why did your... Oh, because you gave a wisdom save.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. 15, your wind walk will be lasting 12 hours at a time now. It traditionally lasts 8, is that correct?
Oh my gosh, that's what I wanted to ask you about last
Yeah.
session when I said I needed to ask you something. It was the freaking stones.
The stones and the stuffs.
Because I didn't want to do wind walk. I wanted to do another spell.
Okay.
I wanted to do regeneration on Rosania.
Oh, yeah, we had that discussion. We just give the
Yes.
+1 hit point.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
how long
that's
does
what I wanna do.
regeneration last in base?
Right.
Joe,
my
in the
gosh.
meantime, Tongues is a standard 1 hour spell, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
If it's 1 hour, it's now up to 4. If it's 8 hours, it's now up to
Oh.
20.
Trigger the memory. in
1
me.
hour, so...
It's one.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Awesome.
4 hours now. As you
Excellent.
cast it on the stone.
Regenerate is also 1 hour.
Yeah, fantastic. So likewise, Rosania, you rolled a 15, so yours will be lasting 3 hours currently. Regenerates a minute.
That's
So a
awesome.
minute to cast, an hour to duration. Yeah, so at the
Eventually, I
moment,
will
if you
truly
cast
be
Regenerate on the
immortal.
stone for the following 3 hours, you will pick up 1 hit point a round. Which means in a short rest, you'll fully regain your hit points.
Does that mean that like she will also begin regenerating parts of her body if she loses them?
Yes, but she wouldn't finish, I think. Body members are restored after 2 minutes. Yes, she would finish.
So like as a test, could she chop off one of her fingers and see if it grows back? Don't look at me like that. You'll know she's freaky.
Torin would offer to, like, I don't even know how to, like, maybe slice it, like, very cleanly off with
So,
the fang or
yeah.
something. She really,
Specifically,
really wants to
don't
do
do
this
that.
experiment. Okay.
So the just a reminder that yes, you can regen limbs provided they are severed in a natural manner. There are lots of ways in which you could lose a limb, such as a fiery blade that cauterizes the wound instantly.
Yeah, I was going to say
that
that's
might
true,
cause
actually.
it to struggle. So don't use the fiery fang. Although those of you who didn't know, I think everybody actually, will be very pleased to know that Rico's sword finally got upgraded. In a particular dungeon that you guys, or particular way of the path that you guys went through, and or if you fought a certain dragon, his sword was meant to upgrade, and it was like 3.5 levels ago, and I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Rico messaged me, was like, "Is my sword ever going to get any better?" And I was like, "Well, shit." So you will now find the Fang of Bahamut to be rather more powerful than it was in the past.
Which might make some fights a little more trivial than.
Yeah, a little bit. He's
previously.
now got a +3 weapon, not a +1. For example, it also has a cool little picture, which.
Oh, wow.
And if you want to read all of the abilities, you may scroll down. Rico said to me, "I'll get to choosing the picture later." Well, he's chosen now.
Oh no, actually, so I revised my own Fang like homebrew item, and then I used another picture that you chose. I don't know if you-
okay.
How do I ping?
You
picture.
would need to open the weapon itself, and then there'll be a
Uh-huh.
like in its own tab. So you go to My Collections, My Homebrew Items, open the item up, and then there'll be a display and VTT picture. But anyway,
Oh, I
either-
can't just hit this one. Probably that sucks.
either way, it looks cool, and those are the properties if anybody wants to read about it. But TLDR, it's a 3+3 weapon that does 3d6 additional fire damage that occasionally does a cone of 12d6 fire damage, which should be great. Don't use it in the jungle.
Nice.
I'll try. I'll try not to.
Yes, as
Burn
you
it
cloud
all
across,
down.
which you will still do, but perhaps, I don't know, it's just a one cast now and it lasts 8 hours and it's great. You arrive at the entrance to what appears to be a small shack. But Theseus will assure you that this is a place. And it really is like a tiny little shack. And as you look at it,
This isn't Furlock's Gap, is it? This
No.
shack.
no, not at all. This is, although not dissimilar in image, but it really is a sort of 8 or 10 foot wooden shack, with just a wooden door entrance. And yet, when you go to place your hand upon it, any one of you, whoever does, you'll feel magic surge through you as it tests to see if you are worthy of the Way of the Path. To enter this Way of the Path, you must have completed Way of the Path 15 or be level 6. Both of which you complete. So the door does open for you, and you'll find yourself walking into a narrow tunnel going downhill. As you do so,
Wonderful.
you all need to give me a wisdom save. You may take the +5
Mhm.
question mark from being near Tori.
Correct.
Okay, then that's a 32. Holy shit, what's Rosania's wisdom? Holy fuck.
Got
Okay.
her good days.
So just
of
a
course,
15.
it's Josh who I don't have rolling, and that is fine.
Mm.
So I believe it's a 38, right? It's a +5.
+5, correct.
Yeah, so
Oh, yeah.
38 for Rosania, a 27 for Chiavo, and a 23 for
32
Tori.
for me, actually.
Yeah.
yeah.
On 27, sure. Hennick, you appear to continue on along this narrow, winding path. It's about 10 foot tall, so it's not that small for you.
Yeah.
And it's a sort of rounded tunnel you appear to be burying into the earth. For the rest of you,
Whoa.
as the entire dungeon sort of expands out to a vast array of sort of old spiraled buildings on the right and left that look like they've been covered by reeds and vines and grown over by bones. And as the entire area sort of builds its way out, you feel a dark looming presence overhead. Hennick, it's just a really relaxing. Nothing particularly major, nothing particularly interesting in the slightest. When you are confronted by a creature. This sort of dark shadow lord stands in front of 4 of you. Hennick, however, he appears to you as a ghost of a man, perhaps in his 30s or 40s, wearing ancient elven-looking armor. But you all hear the same words. Who is it that seeks to pass? You all speak Elvish.
I happen to do so, yes.
Depends
I
when I
do,
played with the stone, I guess.
Besides Draconic and Common, Torin has only really ever picked up words here and there from any other language, but
So
he
you can
can't
swear
cannot
in
speak.
Elvish. Fantastic.
Possibly, but I can't speak in any
Okay.
other language than Common and Draconic. Yeah.
To those of you who speak Elvish, you will hear it in Elvish. To those of you who don't, you will hear it in a sort of very old form of common. Either way, it feels very dated.
When ye take.
Yes, pretty much. Or who beeth thou that seeketh to pass past us? Or something equally ridiculous. How doth thou reply?
Oh. We be heroes of Sandringham.
What might that be?
Actually, quite a quaint town, not too far from here.
Heroes of
side
a
of the-
quaint town from not too far from here. How mighty you do make yourselves sound.
Well, we don't like to overstate things.
Try not to brag.
Well, past the simple trials you might. Difficult. Be beyond you. Though I sense past beyond. Been further than this particular challenge, have you not? Almost to the end of the...
Yeah, I suppose we jumped the gun a little bit, yeah.
Do you fear for your lives?
I must
Yes.
admit I do.
2 yeses, any no's?
More so for others.
Ah, well
For mine.
spoken! A compassionate man, or
I was gonna
Being
say, yeah,
whatever you
Torn,
are.
Torn would relay the same, yeah. I fear the loss of life,
so you should.
not always my own.
Die here and you'll be like I, challenging the next pass through. Some of us made it no further. But I will be your guide. Some of you do not see the way yet, do you? Short one. Other
Well,
short
it's,
one, and he
just-
points away from Sebastian and towards you.
I mean, this tunnel doesn't seem to lead anywhere yet.
Ah, but a
uh,
meager tunnel in your eyes it is. The grand dungeon in the eyes of others. Communicate with your friends. They see more than you do. But for now, allow me, and he gestures with his hand. The dungeon becomes something a little different.
Oh.
As you pass along what are now is a very ancient but beautifully made, refined path. It is as if what you saw, you're now seeing in its days of grandeur. Hennick, this is quite a change for you, obviously. Huge abyss lies below the long, narrow corridor that you walk along now. This is probably, this area to here, ignore the actual writing, it's probably about 8 or 9 feet across. And ahead of you is the sort of, you do see a sunrise in the clouds, which you know to be impossible as you are underground. On either side of this walkway, these huge abysses. These huge walls go up hundreds and hundreds of. He begins to walk ahead of you, but says nothing.
Well, I would like to, as I'm walking forward, flip down the particular visor of old Danoth's one particular lens and keep up that true sight so I can see everything throughout this tunnel and see just what illusions are going on at play, because there were illusions before and I don't know what we're seeing, if
there
it's
were
true
never
or not.
illusions. Except for Hennick's view, which was more internal.
Interesting.
The images that Hennick saw were his mind playing internal tricks on him, not illusions, physical illusions in the outward world, if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. As you proceed along this path, however, suddenly, huge amount of the bridge that you're walking on, the long path that you're walking along, falls to rubble. The bottom of a pit, and you're faced with a chasm in front of you. I will ask you one by one. Torrin, as you see this ground fall away before you, what's your first thought? Your first instinctive mental reaction? Muted, although it looks wonderful when you put your hands behind
Sorry.
you and shout like
To reach out my hands and prevent my allies from proceeding.
Okay, but what do you think? What's the first thought through Rico's head? Through Torin's head? Is it we're gonna fall? Is it I better save my companions?
Yeah, I better save my companions.
Okay.
I better prevent them from falling.
Okay. And as you do so, and you think that, you see suddenly your companions are 10 or 15 foot back, with a wide wall around them, safe from falling, while you are on a teetering precipice. Hennick, as you see the ground fall before you, and then a wall rise up before you, you find yourself all without Torin. What's the first thought that goes through Hennick's mind?
I think, well, because I was already wondering about this guy we're following.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, does he still look like little guy to me, or has that changed as well?
Don't see him.
Well, I mean,
when he revealed the path, they.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think everyone would have seen him as the ancient elven ghost, not the huge shadow form that originally when he revealed into this. Your first thought was about him when the wall came up?
Yeah, because like I feel like we've been in these places all the time, and we're constantly like have no idea where to go, and now we have this guide leading us, which seems suspicious.
Okay.
So I was like, see, now he has led us into something.
You see this elven ghost sort of recede through the wall and hold his dagger to Kiavo's throat. Rosania. First, the ground before you fell away, then a wall rose up before you. Torin missing from inside this small circular area, and then a ghost came through and put his neck to Kiavo's knife. Sure, put his knife to Kiavo's neck. What's Rosania's first thought?
She thinks, same old, same old. The way of the path is playing tricks on us. I mean, she just saw an illusion, so it's clear to her that these are all illusions. She hasn't quite figured out as to why they're happening.
Okay.
But she knows that they're all probably safe.
So you believe probably safe.
Yeah, because she can be certain.
Well, okay, we're fine. Brilliant. In that case,
Maybe.
Rosania, you suddenly find yourself falling. Reach for your magic. Magic zone. Probably 400 feet.
I turned into a bird.
Can't. Alright, but you physically can't change or adjust anything temporarily. Hold on with me. Kiavo.
Yes.
A elven ghost has his blade to your neck. A wall before you. You now only see Hennick and Sebastian next to you. Rosania has disappeared. Torin was never in this area. There's large walls looming up around you. What are you doing? What are you thinking, rather? Not what are you doing. Tell me what you're thinking.
My immediate thought is, well, things are hitting the fan. It's time to. I need to make sure I'm ready for something and in a more advantageous position than
You
where
were
I am
not
right
ready.
now.
As you are swept from your feet as a huge metal fan is turning incredibly quickly at the center of a narrow tunnel, and you are flying towards it at a speed that is terrible, terrifyingly frightening. Torin, as you teeter on your precipice, you look behind you and you see Hennick surrounded by wolves. You see Rosania falling from the sky with apparently no control of herself. And you see Kiavo flying through a narrow tunnel towards a fan that is chopping with a speed that looks like it might dice him up. Thinking.
What is going on in this place? What is the lesson to be learned here? Is what Torin is thinking as he's sort of just like balancing on this thing.
Suddenly, as you're standing there balancing on this thing, you find yourself sat at a desk. A huge tome in front of you, as if Kiavo is one of Kiavo's books. And all of the runes don't quite make sense. And a man, you recognize him to be the elven ghost, walks pacing around in front of you going, "But what is the lesson?" "Better find it, Torin, and better find it fast." Hennick, you now surrounded by these walls, see the elven ghost man with his dagger in his hand, moving only towards you. All of your companions no longer visible to you. What are you thinking? Gavo got taken off to Fanland.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that I I'm feeling guilty for not saying that I cared about other people's lives, and now he's coming for mine alone.
Rosania, the ground of pitted spikes for you, and just as you're about to fall, just as you're about to hit them, you're swept up in a gust of wind. Find yourself tumbling with Chiavo towards a fan. Annoying. About to die in one way, now you're dying in another. Still believe, perhaps, yourself to be safe. You any thoughts as to whether Chiavo might be safe?
I think Rosa is just accepting now that these machinations will somehow land her on the other side. So she knows Chiavo might be there somewhere, safely gusting with her.
Chiavo, hurtle towards this fan. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? My immediate thought is, I'm not going to be sucked into this because I've got an answer. And
as
I'll
soon
wait
as you
for-
think that, there's no fan in front of you. You're sat at a desk next to Torin, looking over a book full of strange runes, and there's only one calculation not filled in. It's such a simple sum. How on earth could Torin not work it out? You find yourself quill in hand with your answer ready. As you go to write, place the pen to the ink. You note that each little scratching you make is drawing the blood. Torin, you will take... need to roll. 68 piercing damage. 29. 29 piercing damage. As Chiavo just about manages to etch out the answer, as you feel your blood literally flowing down your hand and onto the paper. Then... switch to Rosania. Hurtling down towards this fan, Chiavo suddenly gone, his answer below. You note as you're spinning upside down, your head facing downwards, you see Torin and Chiavo sat at a desk next to each other with a book in front of them. Bizarre image. And as you hit this fan, I need you to make a charisma save, please.
I'll use my armor to re-roll my saving throw. Let me just check.
Armor, Torin? I missed.
Yeah.
Which feature of said armor is that? We have so many
what-
things to do.
I see. Okay, so what I want to use is when a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes a saving throw, you can use a reaction to give that creature advantage on the saving throw.
Okay,
That's
cool.
what I want to use. So I'll re-roll that, and I just want to quickly check if at the start of the. No, I can't do that. I'll just.
Sorry, what is it that's...
The metallic feature. Scroll down.
Oh, not your armor, the focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, maybe it's not... Yeah, I'm... couldn't even remember Rosania wearing
roll
armor.
high. Okay, I got a 15, and if
Okay.
I'm next to Torin, it's a 20.
You are certainly not next to Torin.
I just saw it.
You're hurtling... Yeah, he
Oh,
was on
no.
the ground back there. You hurtled through a fan,
Fine.
and you
Fine.
feel that your wrist, your hand gets chopped from your wrist. Your foot gets chopped from your leg. And then as you continue hurtling along, you splat against the back wall, and you'll take 10d6 bludgeoning.
Whoa.
That's a 60-10, that's not...
Want to make sure I
Then
collect
these
those body parts.
bludgeoning.
'cause
Well, you're going to regenerate those.
Rosania Care is alive and funded nowadays, so I wanna get there.
Mmm.
So you take 37 bludgeoning damage, but within a couple of minutes your limbs do regenerate as you've got the stone on you. As you find yourself
I just
face
see me in
down.
the corner, like putting my.
Yeah, well, actually, you're face down at the center of a very narrow, sort of cylindrical area. The walls miles high, much like they were when Hennick was in them. Hennick, you find yourself corridor. Everywhere around you, this corridor has eyes in the walls, swiveling to look. Swear as you catch maybe some of their glances, they're the eyes of people you've seen before. Perhaps that's your mind playing tricks on you. And as Chiavo, you finish scratching out these words, you find presented before you a large doorway, and as Torin opens the door, you see Hennick in front of you. 3 of you find yourself in this corridor full of eyes. Your first thought.
My first thought, I think, I mean, Torin's a little out of his element here. He's especially having just come from a room where he was staring into a book with Chiavo.
Yeah, it's.
So I think what Torin is probably thinking right now is, I wish that my friends and I were just at the end of this dungeon.
Okay. And you don't find yourself at the end of the dungeon, but you are suddenly, all three of you, at the end of the room. Hennick, you're thinking.
I'm thinking if you have this much power to control a space, it's got to be easier to make your point.
I like that. As you say that, you just hit a smash on the ground behind you. And as you turn around, that is Rosania landing. She has just fallen, and you see her hand is slowly regrowing. As the four of you stand, the elven ghost before you with the dagger. Yes, a point to be made indeed. Point of a dagger to your throat. It is only you that are the power to change this area you're within, not us, not I, nor anyone else. Your greatest fears and your deepest imaginations are those things surrounding you. And as he says this, the four of you see that behind this I don't know what you call this, barred door, I guess, barred area behind it is Sebastian. Yes, behind the bars, that'll do. Is Sebastian lying on the floor. He's covered in blood. It seems incredibly hurt. Also,
He's probably faking it.
you also note in the corner, sort of crouched like this, shaking with fear, is Gia. Yorkrath is sat at the, sort of next to her, but has both of his arms cut off at the shoulder. You see the various other people you've helped, various other people you've met along the way, in different states of pain and agony and wounds. You know this to be an illusion. You know it because Sebastian was right next to you 2 seconds ago. But it's sort of your fears embodied, if you like. And then beyond that, a large mirror. As all of these figures turn to look in the mirror, you will look in the mirror and see the world destroyed, burnt, covered in ocean. Crested apart, a broken land, earthquake torn it asunder. Various different states of destroyed earth. And each of you sort of try and gather your thoughts. I will take, please, a charisma check. If you are proficient in persuasion or deception, you may make this with advantage. This is one where Sebastian.
Wow, double 17s.
Oh, so not a 39.
No.
Sebastian.
22,
will
22.
Also roll, so I'm. Okay. Torin, Hennick, the two of you are sort of able to seize control of the dungeon, if you will, and sort of turn it to your will. Stops taking you down these dark and torrid areas, and instead you find yourself back in that simple moving forward. But as Chiavo and Rosania, you are dragged along, you find yourself standing across a vast vista of deep abyss. Narrow walkway, the only way to traverse from left to right. Hennick's walking dangerously close to the edge, seemingly without a care in the world. Sebastian casts fly on himself. Hubris begins to glide forwards. Hubris or hubri? It is hubris, right?
As a
How do we
hubris.
say this word?
Yeah.
American
Hubris.
I think we tend to do the hubris.
Yeah,
Oh,
hubris.
hubris. I like that. But anyway, as Sebastian flies along, Torin and Hennick, you see his head nearly hit the ceiling multiple times. I'm sure neither of you can. The rest of you, either proceeding along this narrow, frightening walkway or down a very placid corridor. The elven warrior at your side once again. Impressive, some of you. Such danger, devastation. To wrest this dungeon under your control with just the power of imagination, but how do you fare in a fight while doing so? He says this, you find yourself, all 5 of you, passed into this huge sort of walkway. These pillars rise at various different angles, and from them fly flocks of crows, many of them transforming as they land into creatures that you know to be vampires, attacking from left, right, and in front of you. What's your reaction, Corin?
Like how many
Knowing
crows
now
are we
that-
talking?
Oh, thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Well, I mean, upon seeing the swarm of thousands of crows coming towards us, I think that Torrin would likely, the martial switch will switch on, and he will attempt this new wicked cone, 60-foot cone.
Okay.
To
As you
incinerate a
blast
bunch of these
out with
crows.
this incinerating cone, all of those before you within that 60-foot cone are completely blasted to smithereens. But standing just beyond that cone is a host of vampires so large you could never hope to fight your way through. Hennick, who est thou?
I imagine, having spent so much time in my fields, I'm thinking of how I can make some sort of scarecrow to just ward them off.
Take it. Rosania, Chiavo, and Torrin. Suddenly rising before these crows is a huge beast made of wicker, thatch and branch and vine. First of all, it swats away. The crows do flee. The vampires back off, and then it turns slowly towards you. Its steps huge. This 300-foot scarecrow raises its tiny little vine-like branch, and as it attempts to thunder a fist down at you, Chiavo, what are you doing? What are you thinking?
So I'm thinking it's gonna try to hit me. My first thought is, who else is in danger here from being hit by this?
Ah, thank you. Suddenly, this fist divides out into 5 separate fists on one arm, and as they all swoop down, one for each of you. Rosania, how do you respond?
I think she's probably still looking at like her regrowing hand, and she'd like raise them up and prepare to cast a spell. The
Okay.
vampires are gone, right? What? It's my
Little
regrowing
baby
hand.
hand. That's
It's
brilliant.
not big yet. So if the vampires are gone, they cannot...
Yes, you just have this huge wicker monster moving towards you.
I would just imagine that Rosania imagines that there's an anti-magic field covering the entire area ahead of them.
And indeed, as you cast your spell, you raise your hands to cast your spell. You see swirling around a sort of black abyss, this monster pounding through it towards you. And Sebastian, who had raised a huge arcane hand in front of it, the hand suddenly disappears in the anti-magic field, and the fist proceeds through, hitting Sebastian like literally like a bowling ball. Just off he goes, flying outwards. At the last moment, you see him hit a huge cushion in the sky and fall down gently to the ground. Hennick, give me an insight check. I hear you're quite good at them.
Yeah, tend to be all right.
Well,
35.
Oh,
8 or a 10 or some silly number.
13.
13. Lovely. Yeah, you realize that although you have been able to control the dungeon mentally by picturing something, and although Torrin has been able to, the biggest problem you're having is that you're witnessing each other's fears too. Because all 5 of you are thinking different things and imagining different things, you're able to control your own fate, but often it is causing trouble for others.
Right.
With that in mind, what do? Say. Think.
I would just say, folks, we need to get on the same page here, but I do wonder if we're not worse off if we all think about the same things that we all have to be afraid of.
As you say this, you find all 5 of you standing on a... Can't quite work it out. You look down and realize that it is just one huge piece of parchment. A vast quill lying in front of you. 5 of you stood next to a single drop of ink, all on the same page. Everybody sort of, it was their instinct, let's get on the same page. How do people respond to what Henrik has said?
Rose is trying not to laugh.
Great, I love that.
At how literal.
The dungeon, the whole dungeon is a literal experience of what is in your mind.
But other than that, I guess now that we're on the same thing.
As you say this, the elven ghost sort of looks down and, I've never seen that before.
I'll just look at him and laugh and say, like, could they have not thought of something a little bit more intricate?
And as you say that, the page begins massive swirls of vivid writing all over it, vivid sort of intricate designs, if you like, spreading out from your feet, but still on a page.
She's just so fascinated, if borderline flabbergasted. Like, so much power, and they just awarded it straight to us to let us do whatever we please. And people still failed.
Most people
There
are
are
dead by
those
now.
who still died in here.
You believe the illusions, and you do not have a powerful and resolute will. And the magic to overcome those trials you witnessed before you truly grasp the concept of the dungeon. Not particularly difficult to fall prey to the dangers.
If you know so much, why did they make all these way of the paths? I'm sure teaching people could have gone through a much quicker route, like opening a school or a temple.
No, not. Only know that, like many adventures before me, I seek to prove myself. Reversing the way of the path. Did not make it to the end.
Can we, like, break your curse if we finish all of them? Is that like the contract?
It is believed that others have finished the path since I did many along here.
That's kind of annoying.
This is much akin to the spiders with the eyes.
Yeah.
Once you complete the way of the path, technically you could come back and free individuals from it. But in the future, if someone else dies here, they will merely be trapped just like the next previous incumbent.
What if we close them after we free everyone? What then? What would happen then? Food for thought, food for thought. Let's
We'll have to find out when the time comes,
Much ado,
Rosa.
much ado, much ado.
Wouldn't that just mean that there's nobody who can following the path as well themselves, and then the entire thing is just brought to a close?
Yeah. And you think that's a good thing?
As you say this, you see a huge grandfather clock rising from the paper, its pendulum swinging, and the paper begins to fold up, close in on you.
For the first time in my life, I'm sorry, Theseus, but I tire of books and pages.
What would you prefer? The old ghost asked.
To see that wonderful pedestal with that sweet writing at its base.
And as you say that, you see this gigantic, thousands of feet high pedestal rise out the page. You see it glistening above you, miles out of your reach. Paper walls are closing in upon you.
Could we not just think of the exit altogether?
I've tried that. And
You see an exit appear far to the right, far to the left, far ahead of you, far behind you. There are ways out all over the place, but you haven't finished the way of the path. The pedestal is right up, miles in the sky. And once again, as your thoughts begin to separate, all your different fears and thoughts come in, and suddenly there is this gigantic spell book that falls to the ground right next to Sebastian. And as he places his hand upon it out of curiosity to begin trying to absorb its magic in his thoughts of, what if we can just think of anything, I'll have everything I want. Suddenly it's raining steak and wine. Put your thoughts together. Find yourself crushed by steak and wine. Or worse ways.
I think we need just at least a respite here, folks. Let's just all think of something we can all imagine clearly that is pleasant and peaceful. And Rosa, I know you haven't been there as much as the rest of us, but at least out in Torrens Yard, I'm gonna just start describing the peacefulness of of Sandringham and the sound of the brook some ways away on the other side of the inn from Torrens Yard, and all that kind of stuff, just to try to give us a moment of we're all imagining this peaceful place that we know.
Yeah.
Not easy, not difficult for Torin to do.
Hear it.
I dare say most of my answers are here anyway.
And in a sort of well-dug and well-sown field, close to a house that no longer exists, outside the fence where once Xandrak's sweet voice met you, a single wooden pedestal, foot high. On it, tablet with writing. You move over, it does indeed seem to be real. To do great things is difficult. But to command great things, more difficult. On it sits a huge book, a tome of leadership and influence, in fact. A rod, a
Oh,
bit of
la
gold,
la.
gold bauble on the top, and a single red gem top of that. Inscribed beneath it are 2 spells, Mass Suggestion and Dominate Monster. Could you wish either of those? Diablo. The elven ghost sort of leans on the pedestal and looks to Rosania and... I'm not truly trapped, you know. But a memory. I appreciate your consent. And he sort of walks off into the light. And then just as he's about to leave, he sort of looks back and... I like this village of yours. Heroes of a town nearby. And you see his face sort of morph slightly and a long beard grows out of it. A wizened old man. Hand on his stick. Same man, Torin, you've been keep seeing in this way of the path. Gives you a little wave and a wink. Walks into what was once Torin Goldenbrand's estate. How rude of him. Oh.
What a surprisingly sweet man.
Can only assume that Hennick is reading the Tome of Leadership and Influence, but is anybody particularly able to attune to a rod of rulership, or should we just stick it in the bag of maybe later one day? There's a little bit
Yeah, we can
behind
probably
you guys.
stick her in the bag for the time being. and
Great
maybe
if you
when the
need to get the
manuscript
attention
fits.
of a large group of people later on.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
For my evil era.
We also have. I was looking through. We'll talk on break. We'll take.
Okay. Much loot is still owned. Torin will point
Yeah,
out.
truly.
Much loot is still owned. we must spread it among us. But you may cloud all the way to Gorbin, where your lovely friend the boat will pick you up. Seem to have lost the boat. Anyone know where it? Aha. Whoop.
It's over at yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Oh,
It's
actually,
Gorbin
I think
time.
you probably clouded to Galir, and it would meet you there. That was the idea, wasn't it?
I think so.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And the group of you can sail around the Academy of Shah. You see quite a beautiful building. Spires and all and large glass, and looks a bit like Hogwarts Castle. But with a lot of this sort of dark green material on the outside. Rosania, you would recognize this building to once have been built by elves. As you pass it by, it's interesting. The Academy of Shah was once an elven building. That's all you really note. And you go around to the Way of the Path 23, which is very well advertised. Pretty much. Many scholars of Shah have lost their lives here. And you see this beautiful, large building, sort of Edwardian style, with these huge mahogany, call them turrets, I guess. Like sort of lots and lots of triangular things. I know they have a word.
Gables, I believe.
Gables,
the
that's the
roof.
word. Yes, that is exactly the word I'm looking for. Thank you. Lots of gables. Beautiful sort of velvet curtains close off the view into the ornate windows. Very welcoming door before you. Has a man standing outside of it. A real man. He is genuinely alive. He is wearing wizard's robes, deepest blue, sort of guarding the way. I cannot find my track to stop it. No horses out.
We haven't met before, have we?
No, as you've been here. Here's my place to warn those who seek to enter.
Go on then, warn us.
You intend to enter.
I'll like look back at the rest of the companions in our gleaming armor and like fucking yeah, just like yes, we plan to enter.
Usual.
Is it really?
Yes, only 3 have entered before you. Ill prepared they were, but arrogant in their beliefs.
You say 3 before us. How long ago?
1 few weeks ago. 1 years ago. 1 when I very first started this. Almost 15 years ago. None of them came out again.
That's unfortunate.
On so recently as a few weeks ago.
Well, given the current state of affairs at the academy, it is surprising. Headmaster himself entered.
Interesting. What is happening at the academy?
Slavery.
Oh, that's awful.
Every one of them, passing the same spells onto these unusual little crystals. Sort of holds one up, a red crystal, so that spells can be stored in it. Tell you that hundreds of thousands of spells of suggestion are being passed into state of affairs, but larger problems to worry about, surely. Well, anyway, I don't seek to parley with you, only to tell you that going within here could be incredibly dangerous.
I think we're well aware.
They are trials of the mind alone. No enemies await you.
Ah.
I believe that the general consent. Find yourself confined there for many years, perhaps beyond the end of it. Not actually that you danger as you can. Your wit and intellect about you. Well, will not attempt to stop you. You look like you've travelled far and wide. Certainly not prepared in ways special.
Have a lot of people come that haven't gone in that you've turned away?
Many. Mostly students. They don't understand. Some I have turned away forcefully who are truly far too weak to attempt anything.
Right, that makes sense.
Seek only to think it's a game. I could not turn you away even if I wished, so that tells me more than anything else that you are prepared. Only ask you.
Trials of the mind, you said.
Yes, and if you have somewhere more important to be, somewhere where time is of the essence, best you consider carefully before it.
I think it's fair to say that the current state of affairs in the world, it's time imperative that we clear this.
Take you as long as it does.
And let's just make it quick.
You emerge at all. Fuck. That he opens the vaunted doors before you. Gestures for you to go in if you wish.
Check over my things and prepare myself, and then I'll look to everyone else and...
I want to cast a spell, but I don't know if I should do it before we walk in or after. I'm afraid that if we walk in, we're just all going to be magically split up and then fucked.
Imagine a way of the past that all I did was split you up and fuck you. That would be quite bizarre.
Wow.
You do believe that being a child of the mind, you can cast your spell out here. The wizard will tell you many wizards before you have cast their spells and entered in and had no problem at all. And he doesn't expect you to be split up.
Mm.
Well, I would be casting my spells before I went in, or casting a spell before I went in. The only problem is, I know that if I do, we could have some nasty bunch of
Don't you dare cast a
bastard
9th level spell right
druids.
now. I will hit you with a stick. It's 2
That's
steps
exactly why I'm
inside,
not
and then
going
you
to.
can do it.
Exactly.
I will tell you it does not matter. Cast your spell without or within. There's no 9th level spells outside.
Well, what
Sebastian
Torin will
walks in.
do. What Torin will do before. I mean, yeah, Sebastian can walk in, that's fine.
I've got to be Josh for him. Yeah, Sebastian has
But-
already entered. You see him
Torin
with
will place a hand on on each of Rosanna and Hennick's shoulders. So I mean, I guess he'd be like sort of like that. And he'll just sort of say a quick prayer to Bahamut, and I will cast enhance ability at the 4th level. And I will give us all, don't ignore that dice roll, but we're all going to have a Fox's Cunning.
Okay.
So we'll have advantage on intelligence checks in case that's what we need to make.
Find yourself in a wall of force for you. A single desk on the right. Book open to a certain page on it. Page. It simply says, both Sod and Gang's area. Armed conflict. Beneath it is sort of lexicon. Spiral letters to write out words.
I'm talking about a turf war.
They will have to hide something. Hold on a second. Trying to make sure I've hidden everything. Great. And written at the top of the book, it says, the 2 secret words in these lines revealed. You find them, combine them. Answer revealed. It's simply asking you for 2 words that combine to 1.
Oh.
What did you say just 2 seconds ago?
Turf war?
Yeah. Are you going to inscribe it in?
With everyone's blessing, yeah.
Absolutely.
I will tell you if you do
Right.
misspell it or you haven't quite got to it. There seems to be no danger to doing so.
Okay.
Yeah. As you inscribe a little word, the wall of force drops. Find yourself able to walk to the next table. You find riddle upon riddle. And some unusual logic puzzles. You find one about pouring out a certain amount of water into it. You have to use other vases to separate out the right amount. There is one which tells you that this potion can't be this if it is that, and that potion can't be that if it is this. And Kiava will quickly ascertain which one. There is
Yavo doesn't, I will.
yeah, there is one particular puzzle where there is just a huge handprint on a wall. Bastion rather arrogantly just puts arcane hand in it. Doesn't solve the problem, but quite cool. And after a little while, you'll find that there is a place you also had to put your hand. Dozens of logic puzzles and intellect puzzles come before you. Why not? We'll give you another riddle before we let you go. Bearer of wooden rings and an intense cuddler. This is a very
Wooden
modern
ring.
phrase. Not what I was expecting. So they combine to one word. Just would anybody like to give it a go? Quite clever the first half. The second half was completely throw me. I have to admit, when I was checking these out before purchasing them on Roll20, I think I got one answer in 101 riddles. I'm so bad at this sort of thing. I even had the answers in front of me, and until I realized, you see on that picture, there is a little tiny number 2 written at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hadn't realized that at the beginning, and I was looking through all the answers going, which one is it? And I noticed the 2, and I was like, oh, it tells me the answer. I know that. Does anybody have an answer, or would you like the answer? Perhaps,
Era of wooden rings.
perhaps Torin, given his enhanced ability, would like to make an intelligence check.
Sure.
See if he
With
knows
my
the answer.
0, with my +0.
Is it a carriage?
13.
No, it isn't. It is rings made of wood, but perhaps not ones you might wear on your finger. Think a little more.
The only wooden rings that I can even think of are like gymnastics rings.
No, think perhaps not rings in that sense at all. They are not,
Oh.
not circular. They are perhaps this way round, and many of them might dictate the age.
Oh, yeah.
Tree hugger.
Yes, it is tree hugger.
Oh my.
Yes, I was terrible at this. But
That's a
as
good
you-
one. Bare wooden rings.
Yeah, I liked the first half, but I wasn't
Insane.
expecting tree hugger. But as you finally pass beyond most of the tricks, there are ones that require the casting of certain spells, identify, detect magic. Which I'm sure Kiavo and Sebastian will oblige. You find yourself standing before a very large book. An array of wooden wands in front of it.
An array.
The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. These wands are a wand of aid, dispel magic, magic missiles, secrets, and wonder. 4 of those do not require attunement. Ew, the wand of wonder does. Probably again something that's more fun than useful. Wonder, but the others in there. An arcane grimoire +3 is only usable by Sebastian or Chiavo. The Tome of Clear Thought gives you +2 intelligence, and Chiavo, you may read that straight away. Josh has already.
Have I had time to read the other book, by the way?
Oh yeah, 100%. Read it on the way here as a cloud.
I was reluctant, obviously, but
The arcane grimoire +3 obviously it does make some nonsense for you, Chiavo, as you have Theseus. But if you wish to combine it into Theseus, you...
Yeah, I'll
Bruno?
definitely pick
Yeah.
up the book, start looking through it, and see if I could present the book to Theseus and see what he has to say about it. If he has any
Oh,
thoughts.
hello.
It is a far lesser
Hello.
book than I.
Yes, but a little bit of an interesting piece to find lying around. Yes.
Oh, right. Some way. I can assimilate its magic if you wish.
That would be incredibly welcomed.
With
Please
no
do.
delay, he just... The entire arcane grimoire disappears. And he fills up some of his pages with the spells he was missing. You take the +3 to... Yeah. This was Josh's agreement based on the fact that he got his bracelet last. He was very happy with his bracelet. Oh, you're fine.
So if I've got the grimoire, then does that still mean I have to attune to
and-
Theseus with it, or is it just free?
Of course. You don't get the item without the attunement slot. If you don't want to attune to it, Sebastian will gladly take it off you.
Oh no, I'll definitely be taking it. It's just I need to juggle.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to unattune to the winged boots for the time being until I can attune to them again.
Sure. Or what else you're attuned to?
The visor, amulet of health, and the dragon rings.
Ah, yes, the dragon rings.
Maybe the amulet of health is quite... Is your con?
15,
Oh, so it's a +4.
and it goes up to
con.
19.
Okay,
So it's
I'm
quite a
sure.
leap.
That's
Um,
pretty nice.
I'm assuming nobody's attuning to the Wand of Wonder.
Probably not.
It's fun though.
Anyone want to take any of the other fun, crazy ones?
But I suggest that, yeah, those ones you do hand out to various different people. Just in case you are wondering, I will ping the Wand of Wonder. In case you are wondering, I will pin the Wand of Wonder. Oh, wow, that's a set. Okay, this is very ugly. Just gave out one of these in our
Ew.
in Friday session. It's basically you can cast a D100 and a bunch of stuff happens, but you don't always know when you're targeting enemies or allies. Most part, it's enemies. There's visibility, fireball, enlarge, reduce, darkness, lightning bolt, thinking cloud, gust of wind, very far and slow. But there's also stun yourself, cast rain, summon an elephant, cloud of butterflies. So it's a bit erratic.
Unpredictable.
Mm.
So, if I
Unpredictable.
may, I'd like to take the time to read that book, unless anyone has any objections.
Of course not.
Hell no.
Yeah,
An
mind.
entire +4 to spell attacks over the course of one dungeon.
Jeez.
You feel a bit like Joe did last session.
Yeah.
With his rhythm maker's drum and such.
Well, I would be down with the dispel magic, but I don't need it. But I like the idea of being able to shut down that particular
Take it.
aspect of people overreaching their
I'm assuming
position
that,
in the realm.
Rosania will take the Wand of Aid.
I feel like Sebastian would want.
You can use it as a heal in a pinch.
If it's
Not attunement.
if it's
It's not attunement.
okay,
It's just like
then
a
I
you
will
just
take it.
stick her in your belt and walk around with it.
Okay, but it can also be a pick up in a pinch if you're at Oswald.
Don't remember the last time that happened.
But yes, how long were we in there?
4 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping it would have been a quick
Not a speed
15-minute
run.
jaunt in there, just like casually complete the entire thing speedrunner style, and the guys just
Did speedrun it
absolutely
in 4 hours. Some
bemused.
people have been lost. Some people have been lost in there hundreds of years.
Yeah, and then we just come out after 15 minutes, and it's just
you
like,
do not come out,
what?
or even after 4
Oh.
hours,
Yeah.
because when
Oh.
you exit, not where you entered.
Oh.
Oh,
So for all he
where the
knows,
hell are
these
we?
people have been completing the way of the path.
I was gonna say, yeah, maybe this guy
You
doesn't
just
doesn't realize.
Didn't know. As
You dumbass.
you can let Phoebe know that you are currently stood next to where the path 3.
Yeah, I'll cast sending for her. Let her know where we are.
Yeah. And you need a ride to Muegos, right?
Is that the plan?
But one way the path left.
Hang on, he said that the headmaster went in, didn't he?
Didn't bother going back to tell him he'd finished it. If he...
Before we move anywhere, Rosa's just sort of gonna take a moment and wonder, are we just going to ignore the hundreds of enchantment crystals back at Shar? Because, I mean, I know the world is ending, but hundreds of enchantment crystals back at Shar?
Well, it isn't that I can say I'm alright with it, but there's things a lot worse going on right the hell now, so...
So I think that
Yeah.
perhaps we save Beldania from sheer destruction before we save a bunch of students.
It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know a lot about power vacuums and like catastrophic world events, but I feel like when they usually happen and villains take advantage of the vulnerable points in the world, things go wrong. And I'm not saying we should like just blow it up, but maybe let's just blow it up.
Please don't blow up all the students.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say
my
perhaps too many
gallery.
innocent lives.
Not
Perhaps too
only
many
that, but
innocent lives.
You would know that the building is incredibly well protected. Magic, so you'd have to get into it and then blow it up. And also, you agreed before the session that we'd.
Yeah, I know, but that was definitely before we knew there was 100 enchantment crystals back
Oh,
at
I've got to
Shar.
tell you about the urgency. Anyway, what was the sending you sent to Phoebe?
Whoa, I don't know where we actually are because I don't have the map in front of me, but
Oh, sorry, did I not pull you? I thought I pulled you guys to the map. Whoop.
I have it
No,
elsewhere
yeah.
There
anyway.
we go.
But
No, the relevance being where the boat and where you are. Oh, I've turned your donkey upside down.
Oh.
you said we went to 3.
Yeah, I'm.
Oh, so
busy
just across on the coast.
I'm busy turning your donkey up the right way. Just here. You recognize this because this is where you exit the other way of the path. Where the path 3.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, just since we're relatively close by, I would tell her that, Phoebe, if you could just boat on across to the main coast near Boulder Down, we're over here now.
You're alive! I thought we'd lost you. We're at the
Oh,
Iraq
no.
state. Disaster is everywhere.
How long have you been away?
Go back to her. Well, I guess the time issues they warned about have happened. How long have we been gone?
Almost 5 days.
Tell everybody else. Well, we've been gone for 5 days, and apparently all hell's broken loose. We'll pop one more message to her to find out, but we might need to just go. I guess I'll ask that. So then I'll, an additional, just sort of go, all right, let us know as quick as you can what's happened and whether we need to come to you or head to the final path.
We are fine. A blind woman hit me with a stick and told me that you must finish the path. You are to have any chance of saving the world.
My assumption would be that's Yagra, right?
It sounds like
Yeah,
her.
yeah, I think we
Not
can
good
say-
enough, Alan,
Like
but it was her that told me to come here. She can fit that in her 25 words. She would.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even probably describe. I would just turn to everybody else and be like, Yagra's at it again. She seems to
Oh.
think we need to do the path and not worry about what's going on. Is there another way we can get up there, Kiaba?
Another way we can get up to the next place of the path?
And all the way to Megos.
Do I know of any teleportation circles
Yes,
around the
you
Muegos
have
area?
one in Walden, and you have one at Harbondon. A reminder that clouds do travel quickly.
Yeah, Moalgan's going to
what's
be
the
our best
speed on your
bet for a
cloud?
teleportation circle.
1,200 feet around.
Can't I just like open a tree there?
I've been to Moy.
Ever? Okay.
Or elves never go.
I don't think any of us have been to
Yeah.
Muegos.
Well, I
right?
mean, she had 500 years before the plane, but she still would never
Yeah,
have gotten in.
like,
It's
she
more
literally
likely that
got
you've been to other
55 or
continents
whatever.
in the world than you've
Yeah,
been to
yeah.
Moegos.
Yeah, I'll just I can cloud. I can.
Yeah, I just need to know the
some
speed on cloud.
cloudery. Yeah.
Wind Vulking.
300 feet.
And you must take the dash action, right? So it's 600. Somebody who's clever at maths tell me 600 feet. 100 feet per second. How long would it take to travel 75 miles?
That was. I
At
didn't
70
even
miles an hour.
understand the question.
Fantastic. There we go. How fast you're
I'm so
going? It's
bad
going to
at
take an
math.
hour and 20 minutes to fly across Moegos from Walgan. Is that the plan?
I'm cool with that.
Whoop, you teleport to Walgan. You're popping in to visit the Golden Brands for dinner and get a long rest.
Oh. If we may. Thanks,
Seems
Mom and
wise.
Dad.
As you're walking around the streets of Walgan to find Golden Brand House, you will notice there are loads.
Wait, Mualgan.
Yes,
Yes, Mualgan, sorry.
there are loads of people on the streets who don't appear to belong to Mualgan. Refugees of all sorts. You see Genasi here of various different. A word for. I'm going to go with elements. I nearly went with breeds. Various different breeds of Genasi. Various different breeds of Tabaxi. A fair few orcs. Dragonborn of all sorts. You see some dwarves. Even a couple of you races from all over the world. All across the streets. And you notice that there's a very martial air to the street.
It's quite different since the last time we were here, no?
Oh, no. Yes, very different. Was that was a Torren question?
That was just like a comment that Torin was making. Captain Obvious over here.
Yes, but I thought you were asking me, is it different from last time you were there? And then I realized what you were actually
Oh, yeah. I know.
commenting on the state of affairs.
Yeah. Well, I can certainly say from this event we learned one thing. There is such a thing as a short hair and a long hair Genasi. Different breeds.
Perhaps Mother and Father can enlighten us as to the goings on. And we will make our way to there.
Over the course of dinner, very nice meal actually, curious meal. Torren's mother. They will inform you that a huge wave drenched the entire deserts. A tidal wave swamped the entire area. Entire villages were obliterated. Earthquakes from Muegos have troubled the entire border. Eventually, the homeland, although the homeland itself is safe, the entire land around it was consumed in flames. Rumor from southwest. Huge hurricane ripped through the trees of Yakan, laying complete waste to everything left of it. That is what she has garnered. So just a quick pointer on that. Earthquakes to the northwest. Water things to the northeast. Hurricanes to the southwest. Fire to the southeast. You're kind of at the center of it all.
Seems so.
Well,
And
it seems like the primordials are causing havoc everywhere still.
if I might poke you in the right direction, I assume it would be likely that you would attempt to contact Jia and Cal. Find out what the hell they're doing. Jia was fighting undead dragons in the north of Yzra.
Correct.
But with your craft. But when the earthquakes began in Muegos, the dragons all flew west and they did not pursue. Instead, they returned to the town of Vanaros, where a strange young woman, purple tent with silver stars, wearing a blindfold, hosted them effectively. Told them they were needed at the Urak state. He will inform you that she's currently being housed at the Velvet Glove with Phoebe. Sweet voice. Hal, however, you attempt to contact and get no response. If you remember, he was seeking a way. He was seeking a way into Muegos. Whether he found it or whether your sending it just doesn't work over the border of Muegos, or whether perhaps he found his death, I have no idea. Just know that there is no response.
I would take time to at least scry him, see if he's alive.
You can attempt, but you will not find any. You don't find his anything at all. The entire crystal ball remains weak and grey, misty. And he's either currently in a cloud or you can't locate him. You think the latter is far more likely. Whether he is dead or beyond your reach, you're not sure.
Well, I would at least hope he's not dead, because I would assume, in the case of him being dead, if I were trying to scry him, I'd scry a corpse, but...
Maybe. You're not entirely sure how the magic works, especially given the large amounts of restrictions on wild elves getting in and out of Muegos placed by Cal's grandfather. You don't know if there's a blockade on the magic in both directions. If his corpse is in Muegos, maybe you can't see it there either.
Maybe it would be different if we were in there. Maybe we'd be able to find something.
Don't scry while you're a cloud.
Of course.
Yeah. Parents will tell you that it sounds like there's a lot of trouble all over the world. They will. Beautiful. And they will ask, Aaron, is it truly your intention? This is your mother speaking.
Ah, yes.
Is it truly your intention to attempt to save the world? Sound very safe.
Of course, Mother. The world would not be safe if it had not been saved.
Can't somebody else do it? Precious boy.
Oh, Mother. You care for me so.
Who?
But this is something that I must do.
Oh, so like your grand. At least you might die for a reason.
Oh, it's all right. I'll have Bahamut to protect
the
me.
idea of gladiators. Well, and so you must. Well, you mustn't leave without some good pastry. I'll have some. I'll have the bakery give you a little care package to take with you on your journeys.
So nice.
So just to get this straight one more time, you intend to enter Muegos as a cloud. Is that correct?
Yes, we've traveled via cloud often. Seems to be kind of our signature.
Can we see you off? Will we know it's you?
Yeah, I imagine that we sort of like still look like cloud versions of us before we.
Oh, do you? I don't. I just sort of see you as a cirrus, you know? Very well. Yeah, so in the morning, you may all take a long rest. In the morning, a beautiful, hearty breakfast will meet you. I will roll.
Oh my god.
The plus 18, you will get 4 hit points, maximum hit points. Not bad.
What's this plus 18 about?
It is that the pastries have been baked over a few days. If Henrik had time, he would be able to triple his score. But you never have any time. You're always cooking in a hurry. You never get a proper kitchen. All of that stuff.
True.
But yes, I was trying to be generous, and it turns out I'm just shit. You would have rolled with advantage. Anyway, and I would assume that you give a tempestuously good speech. In the morning.
Indeed.
One
It's more now, I assume. 24, because now I have higher charisma.
Great. As we fly across the world, we will take a short break. Oh, hello there, and welcome back to the second half of Beldania. Where we left off was in Walgan, and where we resume is drifting across the sky. A reminder that you all gained 24 temporary hit points and 4 increased to max. Potentially more than that if Rosalia uses a wand.
How long does it?
8 hours.
Right? You mean? Is it? Is it?
It
And doesn't even
is.
increase concentration. Absolutely.
But I don't know
No,
if
we
it's... Is it
didn't.
one cast of aid per day? Is that what the one does?
I'll post it in chat. Just a second. Here we go. 7 charges. I see.
You can cast aid at the second level with one cast, so with 2 casts you can put it on the whole party.
Here we go, guys. Aid.
Yep. So that's an increase of another 5 max.
Another increased 5 to the max?
Yep. A
Sweet.
total of 9 increase.
9 indeed.
And bringing
Very lovely.
Sebastian to an effective hit points of...
10.
Not far off. 70.
Oh.
70 plus Arcane Ward for 42. Technically 112, just a lot of that's not recoverable for him. Which is better than the 37 he has normally. The last bit of aid, the last charge of aid will go on Dimitri. So that always gets used. You arrive at the way of the path 25, but your way across, you witnessed torn, scarred land. Doing. Give me a second, I might be able to show you a little bit of the land without. Screen.
Oh.
The land looks a little like this. There are huge rises of rock where rock should not be. There are these sort of shock waves almost, where the land is broken outwards. You don't know what Muegos looked like in the first place, but you would assume it's not this sort of earthy wasteland. One thing is worth noting, as you travel for 8 hours as a cloud, or an hour, sorry, for 18 miles as a cloud, you do not see a single person. You went over where you believed there to be a city in Muegos, and you found nothing but rock torn asunder land. Not even a creature. Bird, not a worm from your height, but you see broken land. When you get to you on the world map, yes?
Yeah.
Trying to fly in a straight line, when you get to about here, you find that you have to go around, as the wind is so powerful up in the northeast of the land. It's sort of swirling unnaturally, as if you're trying to ride into the greatest storm you've ever witnessed. You have to go around it. You find your way to the way of the path, but you do get the sense that big stuff's happening in the northeast of Muegos, which you kind of already knew. So it comes as no surprise. But you find yourself before Way of the Path 25. And this is a vaunted and beautiful sort of two pillars rising from the sky. Rising from the ground into the sky, sorry. They're not rising from the sky, that would be magnificent. A huge sort of stone fortress at the back of them, and this large portcullis at the front. The portcullis needs raising, and it doesn't look like it's doable by any sort of natural means. There's no sort of lever or anything. You face this portcullis. It's about 25 foot wide, about 15 foot tall.
Is there anyone or anything guarding it, or is it just completely
No, you have not seen a
empty
single
land?
creature, not even a bird or worm on your journeys. There is none.
Well, which piece of kit do we use for this one? My assumption would be we could either just open it, or go through it, or go round it, or go over it. But
You can't go over it. There is a ceiling at the top of it. The portcullis would rise in front of it, but only by mere inches.
okay. And this is all brick, sort of stone, right? Not
No, it looks almost as if it was carved from a single stone. And yet it is huge.
Well, it would be quite a destructive way to do this, but considering that this is all carved from a single piece of stone, I would assume this is a bit of rock. I wonder if transmute rock would work to literally just turn segments to mud and just create a mud tunnel
Scramble
around.
through the mud.
Yeah,
Or do you
literally
have
just go
simpler
around
ways
the
of dealing with
portcullis.
this problem?
Yeah, sure, we could just open it, but I don't know if there's anything on the portcullis as such in terms of
No
magic.
other entrances of where the path have been trapped. No reason why this one should. There's a large portcullis. You got any cool ideas?
Well, I know when I've had trees to clear at the edges of fields and stuff, that takes a long time usually, but they can be mighty strong at moving stone you wouldn't imagine. And I would try if there's like place to like a cross piece at the right height to take the staff that I have, right, that does its tree form thing, and sort of like stick it underneath the bars of the thing, and then turn it into its tree form and have it grow 60 foot tall and try to push the thing with it.
I had a large list of things you guys might try. That wasn't one of them. Yeah, 100%. As you plant this sort of deep inwards, and as the portcullis rises, you hear this thunderous crack, sort of from the sky above it almost, and from the stone swells a face. You seek to force your way in.
Well, we didn't see you to ask nicely.
The ways are lost to the ancients, it seems. No longer to people who where and whence certain creatures might exist. Beyond you lies the trials of combat. Art thou ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
I like your confidence. Die valiantly, warriors! And the portcullis will raise the last tiny couple of inches above the tree. And take that tree with you!
I wasn't going to leave it.
And as you enter in, you hear a sort of rapturous round of applause. As you look around, you see no need to clap. Vast arena, iron and stone. Single entrance. As you can sort of, you're not in the arena, but you're looking out this entrance into the arena.
Well, first thing I would like to do, as soon as we take our first step in and we're no longer outside, I'd like to take that minute to prepare with Torrin and create the many tendrils and eyes, feeling and peering into the past and the future, and foresight.
Ho ho. Um. Yeah, shit. I suppose Torn would probably cast haste then as well.
Who have you hasted and foresighted? Or there is a bardic passed around. Dual arcane hands from Sebastian. Rosania is doing what? Transforming into a starry form of some sort, I would imagine, at least.
Chalice.
Perhaps even preparing a concentration spell. Last a minute.
Yeah, I'll summon. I'll conjure some elementals, to be honest.
Yeah. One of each.
If I can, to be
Yeah.
honest, yeah.
Yeah. And as you sort of prepare all these vast spells ready for battle, as soon as you enter, all of these spells will remain with you, by the way. I'm not going to dispel them. I'm not going to. Rising from the, coming from the other entrance, you see a couple of lines of soldiers. Sort of 24 soldiers begin to surround you. They're all made of iron. And they will attack you. And after you have dispatched those, iron golems rise, taller and larger than the previous incumbents. They'll battle with you with large quarterstaffs, bow sticks, if you will. Monks of a giant size. After that, a strange four-headed beast, 2 heads of lizard and 2 of serpent, I suppose is a better way of putting it. 2 of serpent and 2 of lion. This metal creature will attack you. After that, people riding what seems to be giant, almost elephant-like creatures with huge tusks and nasty teeth. 6 of them ride around the arena attempting to fight you. And perhaps even one of you takes a little injury here or there, and yet you make it through once again. In round 5, you find yourself fighting 3 giant iron dragons. These iron dragons start taking legendary actions, and you begin to take a bit of a beating. But you do survive. And finally, a single tiny little creature, about 12 inches tall, perhaps a foot tall, made of iron, begins to summon thunder and lightning and clouds of flame and wind and ice and storm at you, taking almost 3 or 4 casts of spells in a turn. At one point, his power word kill is counterspelled by Chiavo. At another point, his meteor swarm that falls from the sky is counterspelled by Sebastian. It takes a couple of celestial rains, a wish spell, perhaps even a couple of your other largest resources to deal with this tiny foot-like creature with 30 armor
Would have
class.
done something a little different for this one, because if I would have known that this thing's such a vicious little spellcasting git who casts that many spells, I would just get on top of the thing, grab it, and use my visor to cast an anti-magic field and keep the anti-magic field up to try to shut this thing down completely.
If you try and anti-magic field this creature, Chiavo, you will all die to it quite miserably.
Oh, really?
As its magic is not affected by your anti-magic field. It is summoning
Really?
natural elemental power.
Oh, Jesus, okay. I would have shut it off immediately.
It's basically
as soon
using
as
the
it would
arena
have done
roof. It is the master
Oh,
of the
God.
arena, so it is controlling the dungeon itself. But you overcome it, and its 30 armor class vastly. Eventually, it finally dies to a plunge at the fang of Bahamut into its tiny little corpse. And standeth before you a man. This man is going to change the music because it's quite intense for conversation.
Nice.
Better at doing order. This man is also made of metal. He is about 5.5 foot tall, and he has a smith's hammer in his hand. Before I guide you on to I would first like to offer my services. It's been many centuries. I was able to offer my aid. But shouldst thou wish the most fabulous set of armor to wear upon your ways, it would be my honest gift to you. He is basically offering to craft you a set of armor if you wish. This armor would be a +3 armor of your choice, whether that is leather, hide, mithril, whatever. It will also have the adamantine quality to it. It's a +3 armor of your choice. Do any of you wear armor?
Not anymore.
Just head,
I
right?
still have the face shrouded on. Yeah.
Yeah, you can probably get a +3 studded. That'll be the one, basically.
+3 studded adamantine studded leather.
Sure.
Just studded leather.
I never
+3
really
gives
do
you
I
cast
that.
know
find the best.
Rosania wears armor, but I don't know if her armor is like.
It's the dragon touched thingy.
Also, it's like a +1 half
Dragon
plate
touched
or breastplate or something.
Oh,
Yeah, he has a dragon. The remember we got that
Sure.
the dragon armor. And
Oh,
the
Dragon Guard, yes. The +1 breastplate. And it gives you saving throws against dragon breath, right? Would you like to exchange that for a +3 adamantine breastplate?
Depends, Henrik. What is your AC?
He will craft one for both of you.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought-
Up to
I thought he was
five
only
of you,
gonna
up
do
to five
one.
of you.
Ah.
Yeah. This is your last. It is your only chance to get armor in Beldania, other than that which you craft yourself, and that one breastplate you found.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
it's now or never, basically. I don't know if +3 plate mail, adamantine plate mail, is better than your armor class, Rico, but I probably doubt it.
I doubt it. I can make a double check, but I very, very highly doubt. Plate +3.
Okay. So now we're immune to crits?
Oh yeah, the two of you.
Ooh, that's very, very pleasant. Ha 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 ha.
Let's see what happens. Oh, it does go up by 1,
Would look less cool.
James. But I'll look less cool. That is absolutely correct.
It is totally up to you. And you don't have to make a decision now. If you wish a +3 adamantine plate mail, they have it. Just a heads up, I didn't bother doing these in advance because obviously I didn't know how many you choose. You can either add an adamantine armor and then give it +3 yourself manually, or you can add a +3 armor and then just make a note that you're immune to crits. Or you can homebrew it yourself, or you can ask me nicely and I will also homebrew it for you if you wish. I just haven't done it in advance because I would have had to make so many guesses. Obviously, I mean, even in the case of Rosania, I didn't know if you'd take a breastplate or if you'd want half plate. Half plate gives more armor, but half plate gives you more armor, but gives you disadvantage on stealth, etc. Less movement, so I didn't know which you prefer. Yeah, hence I thought I'd just let you guys choose. But as I said, you can have whichever version you wish. But as you go onwards after the armor has crafted you this armor, it takes him mere milliseconds. He's going to build it out of thin air around your body. So it is the perfect fit. He will gesture onwards to a plinth, upon which sits the most beautiful and incredible looking helm you have ever seen. Made of gold and bronze with gems studded at the center. Wondrous. There is also a tome lying next to it, a manual of quickness of action, which Torin will read so fast that nobody else even noticed it was there. Going, I knew there would be a 6th book!
There had to be.
There had to be a Dex one eventually, right? Yes,
I feel like I have 6 attributes.
This
But
will
I can
benefit
vent
you 10 times more than anyone else. Yes, you can get adamantine elven chain if you wish. It might be a lower to your. I think you've got quite a few effects that say if you are not wearing armor. So, for example, you'd lose your mage armor, Jamel.
Yeah, but it'd be more AC than the mage armor.
So, I don't know if you can get adamantine elven chain +3. I'd have to have a little look. Just tell me a Elven.
It does say that it's equivalent to a +3 armor, so
What is equivalent to a +2?
adamantine elven chain. I looked it up.
What? How did you look it up? It doesn't exist.
I was okay. Maybe this was a homebrewed one then that someone put in there, but
It's
Hey.
not in my collection.
apparently it's in mine. Have a look at
That's
the
not-
text.
What are we looking at?
I'm posting the text in chat. This was the text that it had.
Oh, change shirt +3. Yeah, the super armor is reinforced element. Oh, okay. This is something I've got added, not something I've made. This was a long time ago. This was made for Darkness Over Cologne. Yeah. So you can go ahead and equip that. We'll give you the proficiency, I believe.
Fantastic.
Before you sits this helmet. I'll ask you guys to tell me what it does.
Oh, nice.
So I will start off with Rico of D100.
Aye, aye. Oh, 12. Almost a 92.
While attuned to this artifact, gain 1 armor class.
Cool.
Go, a D100.
Cool,
please.
cool, cool.
Sure. Actually, I don't remember how to do it. Let's do this. Boop. 23.
That's really unhelpful.
Nice.
Can I have a reroll on that one, please?
You are blind.
No. This is not detrimental. It's beneficial. I'm not giving you the same thing twice. While attuned to this
42.
While attuned to this artifact, you have resistance against necrotic damage.
Sweet.
Wait, no, a second. Bruno, a D100, please.
16.
While attuned to this artifact, one of your ability scores increases by 2 to a maximum of 24. Your choice.
Wisdom!
And Jamal. Well, no, it's not your choice now. It's whoever attunes to the item's choice.
Oh.
And Jamal, a D100, please.
Got too excited.
32.
When you hit with a weapon attack while attuned to this artifact, target takes an extra d6 damage of the weapon's type. Alternatively, when you hit with a cantrip, there's an additional d6 of the cantrip's type. Depending on who attunes to. Yeah. Oh, where is that? Fantastic. Those are your 4 beneficial effects.
What was Sebastian's
The
benefit?
detrimental effect is that you have a -2.
And feet.
You could make this have a +2 strength, and then it would just give you.
I'll balance it out. True, yeah.
But I don't see that being particularly helpful. Yeah. On top of that, this is a magical item. It is the Helm of Perfect Potential. It has a shard of the elemental chaos embedded in its forehead, surrounded by a motif of the rising sun. While attuned to this item, you can cast Cool Lightning, Wall of Fire, Conjure Elementals, and Tsunami.
Wow.
You can also launch a Searing Bolt of Elemental Energy as a bonus action, dealing 4d6 elemental damage of your choice. And you gain advantage on Deception and Insight checks.
Anything else?
Well, that's the lot.
Wow.
Like-
Wow.
It's an artifact. It's the second artifact of the Way of the Path. 25 and 26 give an artifact. What is 27 going to give you?
Who knows?
Sounds pretty cool, though.
It does require attunement, obviously.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Rosa
It's
quickly
pretty cool.
sneaks behind every party member and slits their throats. So I can take this. Kidding. Never. No.
Yeah, I don't know who it's strongest on, but I would perhaps posit that it is an upgrade for any one of you. Even if only because you can increase the stats to 24.
I will say that remembering our conversations from before in session, James, I'm pretty sure Torin cannot wear a helm with the mask affixed to his
No,
face,
you cannot.
so-
That would be bizarre.
So then,
And
the
also,
helm
you're
is
already
not-
busted
It's
enough.
not going to
Sit
me
down.
anyway. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's not going to Torin.
I'm
So
not
you guys
having you
fight
cast
over
Wall
it.
of Fire on yourself and heal through it. Okay, fuck off. Get out of here. Yes. Also, Torin, he's mask and sword and shield and
Yeah.
and what?
Someone else
Got
can
a
take the
fourth
cool
attunement
helmet.
item. Oh, and ring, right? Ring,
Yes, the
mask,
ring.
sword, shield. Is that what you're attuned to? No, you're not attuned to a shield, are you?
Ring, mask. Oh no, sorry, my tattoo, which I actually can't remove unless I like remove curse myself. But
Yes.
it's not the worst thing. I have resistance and immunity to poison, so
You can all dice it out and argue over it, or I can leave it until next week, or we can throw it into chat and let Josh and
Y'all
you
fight
all
over it.
discuss it over the next week, or we can deal with it now. It's totally up to you guys. Is anybody sat there going, it's useless to me?
I'm just
Apart
gonna
from me.
refill my coffee really quick.
Hennick likes his normal hat.
Henrik likes his hat. That's a pretty good reason to not wear it. Also, what are you giving up if you unattune to something for this? Right? Not you,
Yeah.
just you in general. What are people giving up? But,
Yeah, it's 36 HP.
36 HP, that sounds quite negligible if you ask me. Rosania would be giving up a ring of shooting stars, is that right? Or staff of healing, or a cloak of protection?
To be honest, I'd give up my +1 moonsicle. Because in comparison, it's just useless.
Sure, I'm just not sure whether the moon sickle's better than like the healing staff, for example.
Absolutely, because I lose a +1 to my wisdom saving throw, to my spell save with moonsicle, and I gain a +2.
Oh, the staff
So
gives you +2?
No, the moonsicle.
No, my
all
point
the
is the
moon
moon
sickle
sickle
does-
stacks, right?
Yeah.
So you're giving up a +1 to your saving throws for the staff of healing?
Yes,
For example.
100%.
Okay, cool.
Big-
Yeah, it's up
because
to
think
you.
about
I'm
it,
just-
I still get a net if I were to take it. I still get a net 1 gain on my.
Oh, I was never doubting you'd attune to the helmet. I was just doubting you would unattune to the sickle over unattuning to the ring of shooting stars, for example.
Oh no, I love my team items.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
Okay, so the helm going to either Chiavo or Rosania.
But to further
Bastion, I
what I
guess,
was
if you-
saying,
It's a tough call for me though as well
Sorry, go on,
because
Bruno.
it isn't just
Jamal,
36.
Jamal, you've just... Bruno, finish your sentence.
Sorry.
I was gonna say I don't think any of us should attune to it right now until at least we do the next way of the path, because we might attune it to the wrong person and then get a very powerful artifact that that person could really use, and then if we unattune to this, it becomes useless.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it
Impossible.
doesn't.
No, so first of all, that doesn't apply to artifacts anyway. But the person who's attuning to it would choose the stat. So obviously,
That will be permanent.
that would be permanent, yes. So you don't want to put a
Yeah,
+2
okay.
into it and then give it to...
Right.
Then my point still stands.
Yeah, cool. So I would suggest over the course of the week, we can not discuss it. And then at the beginning of next session, we'll remember that we didn't discuss it. And discuss it then.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, because I've realised as well. It's not just 36 HP I'd lose, but I'd lose an entire 2 to my concentration saves, which is not fun at all to be losing.
No. Again, guys pick different items than I would have just thrown the visor in the bin, mate. That would have been... I would have even blinked and just been like, true sight, fuck off. That's how I would have viewed it. But do remember that it is only 1 level till you get a 5th attunement slot anyway. There is that. All that stands before you.
Not
The
better
way
than
of the
my
path,
Clay Burley.
27.
Hey.
Maybe I
right.
could just put the
As
visor
we
in
have
the pack.
literally just decided, Jamal, that it will be discussed over the next week. somebody will choose next week. So don't decide now. Don't make your case or even think about what you might unattune to. Because by the time you do decide, it is hoped that you might be level 19. At which point you'd have 5 attunement slots and it wouldn't matter what you unattune to. But alas, for that, Beldania must touch a tree. And that's going to require flying quite a long way. There ain't no trees in Wagos anymore. Big grove. There you go. You can fly to pretty much back to Moalgun. To the forests of Yuzra. Touch a tree. Pop out in Veralia. Bottom. Panic. You take rest in your tent or the base of the mountain of Veralia before entering the final way of the path. What kind of breakfast prepares somebody the final way of the path?
Oh, the very final way of the path. What would Hennick prepare? I think just something relatively light. You don't want to bog people down. You don't want them full of pancakes and not able to react and think clearly. But
I
just
think
have
from now on it is canon that pancakes give disadvantage on dex saves.
Yes. No, just some honeyed toast and some bacon. Bacon can be a little bit bad, but we don't have to eat too much.
Beautiful. Honey toast with just enough salty bacon to offset.
Yes.
I will take that cooking check, and I believe it's with advantage. +8 to the note.
8, it says on here.
Yes. At advantage.
Just have to click on it properly. There we go. Well, it's a natural 20 for a 40.
Natural 20
Okay.
will double the amount of excess HP. So you may each add, that is disgusting. I hope that we never see this number again. You may each add 48 to your max hit points.
48 to
So
the
nat 20
max?
I have it written down, a tiny little note in the corner of my cooking document. Nat 20, double the max HP. I didn't
Oh
posit
my
that at
God.
some point one might roll 24 over 16. But I keep bumping your charisma on top of the fact that your base scores were pretty high in the first place.
Let's add 5 more on top of that with 8.
Yeah, let's.
Oh
So
my
53
God.
increase to max as we begin finally. And as you arrive at the foot of this mountain, there is a very simple wooden sort of archway. And inscribed in it in ancient Elvish. The path beyond yonder, the way. Sort of means way of the path, but not quite. Because what it actually means is the path you see in front of you is the way to go. Well, perhaps that's always what the way of the path was meant to mean. The path that is the way. The way that is the path.
Oh, very confusing.
We begin your slow trudge. Reach the archway. Or Hennick would tell you that
Well, then it doesn't matter because it needs to be done.
as you enter through. Light, watery. Step where the path embers. All that. Grew up. How you grew to be the person you are today. Why you grew. Remember standing on a small island at the center of this lake. You in fact pictures yourself once again, center of a old, wizened man with a long grey beard, walking approaches the five of you. 6 steps. So you have come to the end.
Should seem that way.
Tell me why. Tell me why you began this path. You have continued on this path.
There's too much out there going on, threatening the world that I don't understand.
Seek the power within the path. Combat.
I suppose so.
A worthy goal. Does the same. You all.
Aye.
Mostly, yes.
Mostly.
Initially, for me, this was a curiosity more than anything, and then the stakes became, well, far greater.
Curiosity might kill, but it is. Well, you onwards. You'd passed the original trial. Hope you make it. Hats his staff into the ground, and the lake, the island sink and find yourself once again. I'm in something a little different. I'm gonna put us here, but it's not actually where we are. I'm just going through the previous imagery. But before you, it is pitch black and dark. Single flame slightly beyond your reach rushes towards you, and you remember, this is but an illusion. Ignore it, pretty much. Remember to define your own reality where possible. When you cannot define your own reality, define your own boundaries. Remember back to those marvelous pigments where you painted your own way out. The self-trudging on. As you do so, you take care to step over the bones fell before. You look to the right. There's sort of finger painting at the edge of the mountain. Go back. Fear nothing. Go back, lest your need be so great. Risk it all. No simple path. I, who walked 26 trials, will not walk the 7th. And it sort of ends in a little line off. Note that it is written in blood.
And sorry, it was written in common?
Yes. It was
James?
common. Not that long ago. A couple of years, not like last week.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say the blood is still fresh.
Yeah. But no, it's not ancient. As you. There is a sort of bright, glowing portal. A window into another world. Or path. Bastian will point his staff at the floor. Beyond this portal. The hither staff that he retrieved from this very where he steps in, merges the other side, you realise that he hasn't died. Likely be a single vase on it. Give me a second. Skipped one. On which hill did you die? Need to work out where Rico died. You find yourself sort of as you're trudging this hill, looking to the side of the road where a skeleton assembles itself from the bones on the road and one single bony finger right in front of your face.
I will.
Yes. For the way of the path is the way, the only way.
Who left? Points his finger at you. You remember him? Skeleton. Had a long conversation with him once. I believe Anya who had a amusing fellow. This was the way of the path where all of the incumbents were the bodies that had died here. This particular guy was very content in his coffin and wanted to go back to it. I believe in Jimmy.
I was like, Randy or something? I don't know. It was a stupid name for sure.
It was definitely a stupid name, but I can't remember what it was. Anyway, he stands before you saying, "You left me." They swiftly continue past him. Frankly, you are able to move. The next area. And there's this sort of wall of flame in front of you. You remember back to the... This was another area of illusion. This is the one where, if you remember, you had to... you traversed all the trials before you got to the end and realized it. Through the fire, you went through the... Past all the spells to deal with it. Simply walk. The whole path was simple. And as you go forward in faith and believe in yourself, pass on to the sixth tree. Self surrounded by darkness. Know that there's a door somewhere here, but you can't quite find it. Well, Sebastian sort of reaches down into his pack and pulls out that lantern that you had a long time ago with the eye and shines it directly. Danolf's visor would have worked for this too, but there is a thematic purpose that I'm using this lantern of revealing. So you could work out why in a bit. And as he shines the lantern of revealing onto the door, and make it out. Reach for it. Or onto the... Now we start putting it in your hand. Before you is a large lake-like, which sits all lighthouse. Remember?
We remember.
Out of the lake. And the path continues the other side of the lake. What are you doing?
So we're on one side of the lake and the path is on the other.
Yep. And in between sits this little lighthouse. It's tiny. It's like maybe 6 foot tall. Sitting in the water. The water's only about 10 foot. Copyright on.
But
Is your
perhaps
patented
would I
solution?
Perhaps would I be able to reverse gravity like I did before? Because last time I did it, I just made all the water from the lake float up.
Right, but all you will have done is reveal the lighthouse. You need to get to the other side of the lake.
Is there any reason for us to even interact with the lighthouse here? What's stopping us right now from just crossing the lake even?
Rosa just went into like a muscle memory because the last time they did it, that's exactly what she did. So she stops casting reverse gravity and looks at you and says, "That is a wonderful point, Kiavo. Shall we just get across then?"
10-foot gap, maybe 15-foot gap. Only one of you can jump that. the rest of you doing about it? This Torin sort of looks at it and go, I can leap that.
Yeah.
I can just create a
A
wall of force.
graceful ballerina-like leap.
Oh, you are going to
Torin
leap
will
it?
take. Oh, me? Oh no, I'm gonna wait for.
Oh, right, okay, yeah,
for
that's what I was
everyone
going to say.
figure it out. Yeah, no,
Torin
I'm not
knows
gonna
he
go.
could leap it. What are the rest of you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah.
Well, if need be, I could always just wall of force a pathway along. Just lace it along on that plane instead, and just wall of force create a bridge.
It'll be slippery, but I could just use the this ring from a while back just to freeze some parts of it and walk across.
That's a Would you all trust in the...
If it's not that wide, and you can sort of use the, because you can do, I think, 3 chunks at a time, then we can connect it so it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all wobbling on an
Yeah.
iceberg.
You connect your path across the water. What
No,
was that?
that's
Sorry, I thought you were carrying on. Yeah,
No, sorry.
as you connect your path across the water, you cross over. Reach the other side. The lighthouse begins slowly sort of surface of the water. Single watery window. Wait! Wait! Ready to face the next trial. We have completed this one.
Torin will think to himself, haven't we already? Be right back.
No,
Okay, you froze very momentarily, like sort of almost blurred.
I'm just
across the
lazy.
screen.
No, I'm
no,
just tired.
it was definitely a camera glitch. It blurred.
Okay.
Um,
So like our path goes past where the
well, you
lighthouse
are already
was, right?
past. You're the other side of the lake, and he's calling
Yeah.
back from the lighthouse that's risen and sort of going, "Wait, you haven't finished this one."
Well, what do we need to do?
And then he just struggles, and like no words come out. It would, I see. And the lighthouse slowly sinks back.
Logic checked.
Well, it's and it's much smaller than before, right? You said
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
tiny
like
in the.
you can't
yeah.
enter it. Like, oh, I might.
I was thinking it was
might perhaps
smaller enough to be easy to get to and enter, but it's not enterable at all.
remind you of the teaching itself, that your mind can be formless, shapeless.
I turn this into clouds.
Oh, because you are
become
formless. Is that the logic?
formless and shapeless?
Yeah, I'll give you that. Drift slowly up the hill a little way. Not quite what I was looking.
Expect the unexpected. I'm a druid.
As you roll up the hill ever so slightly, you suddenly perceptible. The entire path sort of closes in, a roof going over your head, and sharp, ice-like crystals start to point in towards you. Oh,
Who's that?
Revive.
Oh,
Not dead.
And as you see these crystals sort of sharding in before you, you'll see 5 necklaces with single pendants. Recognize these 5 burdens. There.
Oh yeah.
One of you.
Ah, yes, of
One
course.
of you must take anguish. One of you, frailty. Take lethargy. One, normality. One, weakness. Who will bear which burden?
Oh shit, I forgot who Deke got.
Well, you also changed people. So
Yes, we have, but I mean, like,
one of these will make all of your items, magical items, normal.
So if I summoned like 6 pixies and asked them to wield these,
To wear them.
yeah.
Dimitri, take one. You need at least 10 hit points.
Right, okay. That is good to know.
Well, I wonder if we're gonna have to keep these the whole rest of the way.
we'll give Dimitri that magic item one.
Yeah, I thought you might.
Yeah.
So Dimitri takes normality, leaving you anguish, frailty, weakness.
Anguish,
Josh isn't
frailty,
here, so which
weakness,
one
and
screws him over the
lethargy.
What do these ones do again?
They're all on the screen.
Can we get a quick rundown?
On the screen, no?
Oh, all right. I see
Yeah.
them now.
Oh shit, sorry.
Quite detailed, so I didn't bother doing it myself. I can tell you that one of them gives you
So
disadvantage on saving throws,
normality,
one disadvantage
gone.
on all attack rolls, one half movement speed, no reactions, basically slowed, and one takes psychic damage when you miss or fail.
Considering how squishy Sebastian is, the psychic damage one probably screws him over the most.
Yeah, I can take the anguish one. I can handle failing and taking damage. That's for damn sure.
Well, yeah. that's right.
Although-
I don't make
although-
many attack rolls, so it
Yeah,
won't
that's
happen to me
true.
very often.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
weakness is the one to
true.
take with attack rolls, right? Don't make attack rolls, take the weakness one. Advantage on all.
True.
Oh.
Sure.
Can
Hey,
Hennick wait
give
if you
Sebastian the
take a -5
frailty and he has
strength?
no con.
I mean, probably not.
I'll take frailty because that will have very little impact on me since
Oh,
I'm
true. You have the
con.
bumped up con.
And I've got advantage on con saves,
So
so that
it's-
just makes me roll them.
Hennick and Sebastian and Chiavo to take lethargy. We give the should we give the slow to Sebastian?
I can't remember which some of his stuff he does with his bonus actions, like when he has hands and stuff.
Yeah, so
Well, I don't
So-
mind taking weakness, but if you rule that I can't do anything, then obviously I can't take it.
if it will take you below 1, can't.
No, I have 8. I'll just be done.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
fine.
take the weakness because I
You
can just
also
make
got
things
attack
make
rolls.
saves instead.
Yeah, okay, cool. Chiavo takes the weak. And Hennick, the most humble of all.
Yeah, I was gonna take normality, but it does seem quite troublesome.
Mm-hmm.
As you pass across.
I shake
other
Dimitri's
than-
hand.
Everybody other than Hennick will find themselves sort of passing through these crystally areas. Hennick, wise old man with a long grey beard. Quite a few times. So you know who he is. Without knowing who he is. Just seem to be lacking in burdens. Some ways, but not others.
I feel like a fool.
Is I the fool? 5 burdens for 6 people. Perhaps you'll carry this for me. Hands you a small stone, about hand size for Hennick.
Sure.
Like as soon as you take this stone, you feel its weight. It is full of emotional burden, is the best way to put it. You can feel cries of pain, anguish, agony, despair. Bear it up. Hold on to it for now. You're unsure about whether it has any mechanic
Sure.
or enter. Still holding.
I think as bizarre as it is, I would thank him.
Shelter. Easy to be unburdened while you're... Puzzles.
Puzzles.
Light puzzles for you. You have solved these before, and I'm sure you'll find it not too difficult to solve again, but you realize that only the person wearing the Ring of Puzzler's Wit solve these. Reminder that it is this dungeon you got the Ring of Puzzler's Wit from. Without it, solving these puzzles is pointless, as it does not get you past. Take that as an indication of what's coming. Best advice. As you move onwards, you enter an area of thick poison. Smog within. Trees, gnarly, curved trees. Staring out at you from these gnarly, curved trees. Spider with you. Watches you. Your way is blocked by...
Hmm.
I am going to turn us all into clouds.
Revert to the cloud form, okay? I will need a con save from
No,
everybody
I'm
against...
joking. Obviously,
You can do.
that would just be an option. Give you a what? Sorry, what do you want me to?
You can do, but if you enter into the smog, you would need to make a Constitution save against poison, all of you.
I see.
I am immune to poisoned and also resistant to
I know,
poison
I
damage.
know. Some people are
I
show
am
off.
also immune to poison.
Right. What are you doing the other three?
Oh,
Healing them?
indeed.
Merely resistant.
I can. Hold on,
Merely
hold on.
resistant.
Is anybody carrying a necklace of adaptation?
Oh, somebody is for sure. I don't know who put it on.
If it's Dimitri.
Not Sebastian.
It's not. I don't know that anyone is carrying it actually.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Well, one of you must have it.
Yeah, someone has it. It's probably in the the bag.
I
Trusty
think it's
bag.
in your
holding.
living room.
It's probably in your living room. Oh dear, it is an achievement
I don't
item,
have
so
it
none of
marked
you will
anyway.
be none of you will be wearing it.
Mhm.
But it's safe to say you can dig it out of the bag of holding.
I mean, I can also cast Aura of Purity to give everybody advantage on saves against poison and all that good stuff. I don't know. That'll help. Like,
Won't get rid of the gnarly trees.
absolutely, yeah. It won't. It won't. It'll give us some time.
Well, as you enter into this area with the aura of purity about so that you don't get poisoned, you make your way to the edge of the gnarly tree. There is this sort of knot in the tree that comes out like a head. Got two eyes carved in. Fixes you there. It is on the front of sort of where the trees cross to block your way.
Hello there.
There's nothing in it. Of wood. Have eyes carved into it. Reminder that you could only pass the light ring of Puzzler's Wit. Probably would have been. Sebastian used the Lantern of Revealing to show the door.
I guess then we'll just match the items as we go along. That'll be the
Awesome.
wisest thing.
Unless like Kiavo can use the visor maybe to see.
Yavo
There's
puts
like
the
a-
true sight on and sees nothing. Except for a light glowing around the neck of this wooden, edge-shaped knot of wood.
I mean, necklace on the wood.
Around the wood, the trees will curve back out.
I was like, do we have to decapitate it with the ghost cutlass?
You could have cut through the trees with the ghost cutlass.
Okay.
But unfortunately, you've lost an attunement item, you couldn't wear it.
That's okay. That's okay.
As you carry on trudging up, this path takes a curve around the corner. Before you is a large stone barrier, on which sits a vase.
Nothing in the vase.
No. Many are the colours within our hearts, the teacher. Go forth and show your colours as you admire the colours within those you meet. Who shines brightest is often the one who shines the light upon the others. For most of you, you won't remember what that teaching's from, but Torin will remember. He died here.
Oh, I did.
You did.
Oh, I did.
Teaching not so relevant as the vase itself.
Oh, God. Torin will step forward and remove the crystal flower pinned to his tunic. And he will place it in the vase.
And as you do so, bursting forth, almost from the altar itself, is that lich. This is a single hand at you, Torin. Casts a spell at you. Reflect it with a mere wave of your... Realize that this once mighty enemy, pitiful before you now. He fights you with all his wrath and might! He even leveled up, gained like 100 hit points. Still don't care. As you sunder his life, he falls to the ground.
As I'm just like poking it on. Oh, not bad, not bad. Yes, he even improved.
The gateway opens up the stone barrier, the vase moving to one side. You may retrieve the flower on your way. Note that it's afraid that rose will not prevent you from dying in the end game. I really thought you died before we got here. At some point from standing in all the danger, and you just didn't.
I'm trying.
And so you may continue onwards as you find yourself in a narrow path. God, do you remember this one? What a tragedy that was.
Oh God,
No,
yeah, I
we're gonna
remember.
skip right through this. Rose is gonna write it down on the paper exactly what they need to do. Hand the papers out.
Oh, no.
No, this is quite simple. There is a large mirror in front of you, and either side is a sort of little crevice in the wall, shaped perfectly for you while wearing the ring. Place your dragon rings either side of the mirror. When the two of you put your hand dragon ring in, you are reminded gently of the message on the mirror. Friends of the family who cheer. And you may continue onwards.
I'll smile coyly at Cabo.
Once again, you find yourself surrounded by toxic mushrooms. Smog. Horrible. Yeah. And you note that there is a large sort of vat center of the pathway. Perhaps enough to hold 5 gallons of water. Alchemy jug.
I'm gonna have.
It's
Oh, I think
If
Henrik
it wants
has it.
water. I have the decanter.
Oh. Well, perhaps you could fill it with mayonnaise. I don't know. Either way, you may make your offering here. It is the alchemy jug that you got from it.
Oh right.
You are reminded that poison is in everything and nothing is without poison. Not the dosage that's... Then... nothing. Not at all, just... the spiraling mountain. Up and go. You're reminded when you climb, it is not the mountain come but yourselves. Aaron got himself a manual of gainful exercise in this damned dungeon. He walked oh so long, and as you trudge around and around. Finally, reach a really steep path. Bottom of it is a cart. Stones similar to that Hennick holds in his hand. And two little ghosts stood by it.
Hello.
You wheel us up the hill. Can't make it any further. We're tired.
Well, I suppose we can try.
Note that there is no way they're going to fit in this barrow unless you take all the stones out. Or next to it.
Stones will have to be carried up on their own, then I'm guessing.
You don't need to take the stones, they're not asking.
Oh. I thought they wanted to go up with their stuff, but sure.
It's not their stones, they just want you to use the barrow to take them up.
Oh.
Not the
I'll
bell
em-
specifically.
Yeah. I'll empty the stones.
Oh,
I mean, by hand?
one at a time?
Yeah.
As you grab one stone, Torin, despair washes over.
Whoa.
Madness like tragedy of 1,000 souls that have died here before. Hardest things you've done just to get this stone out of the barrel. Place it on the ground next to you. Look, perhaps with surprise, to see Hennick holding this stone in his hand. Aware of the price. Takes what you can muster. Reach in and lift that second stone. Others, I'm sure, will begin helping you. Reach in and
You might make Dimitri do it.
he might.
I
make
don't
it
think
to you.
there's. It seems like can I even? Because I've got like no fucking strength, have I? I've got 5
It
strength.
weighs
Can I lift
nothing
this stone
except emotion.
up?
It is the
Mm.
burden of despair, grief,
Oh, then sure, I can probably
of
make an
fear.
attempt for one. Yes.
Lift
I
one.
would have no reason not to summon a bunch of summons if that's allowed.
Yeah. Every one they lift out seem to be stones aren't real, but a symbol of humility. You eventually empty every stone. Ghosts wait to push up the hill. That old wizened man walks next to you. You reach the top of the hill, he puts his hand out. You may leave your burdens here. You'll need your full wits about you. We'll take from you not only the stone, but take each of those necklaces.
Ah.
You see, as he places them over his head, they join like little tiny links in it. Wears hundreds. Brings a sack over his back that you know to be full of the stones of burden. Gestures you. For you, burning furnace of Bastion hat to the staff. Realize that enter in the center of this hot burning fire, a rock shaped oddly. Recognize it to look very like that fire elemental that Rosania summoned in that battle, the trial arena not that long ago. because we've skipped over some of the previous ones, it wouldn't know what to do here because we left the lighthouse behind. But I will tell you that the would need to summon said fire elemental to hold the stone for the flames to dissipate, so the rest of you may pass. Sure.
Certainly.
An of load.
Nice.
Area of sort of like this where the stone falls away. For you is this sort of large, long swimming pool. By putting it, it's like a river, but it's made of stone. Someone's built it. A long, narrow path ahead. There is a little rowing boat. Oars are made of.
Could this be the time
I don't know, could it?
that I pull out my own boat?
Boat.
Because I don't really see any other chance to use it.
As you get your own folding boat on, the wizened man with the beard sits in the boat with the water oars.
Just a quick side note, this does look like a huge fucking swan.
Great! He loves that. Bit of the wave, and I see you brought a boat. Many people bring a boat up here.
Well,
Gives you a little
like
round of
to
applause. He's very proud of you.
thank you, thank you. How about we like liberate the copious amounts of magical energy you've amassed, sir? Is this him? Is this him? Is it him?
With him.
Is this the mastermind? Rosania furrows her brow as he sits on her boat.
He's not sat on your boat. He's sat on the other boat. One
Oh.
given to you. Waving from.
Ominous
Answers
as
you
always.
seek. Oh, so little further to go. Before you rises a maze.
Oh, you using a feather token boat?
Yes, yes.
I was gonna say I have a folding boat.
Oh.
But she's wanted to use that feather for
Yeah,
so
that's
long.
fine. I was just like deleting my floating boat because like, oh, I guess she's had that all along.
No.
You've had it all along. I've been waiting to use my little boat.
This is your one-off boat. But as this maze sort of
Perfect.
unfolds between you, well, I wait. No. As this maze sort of unfolds in front of you, begin to navigate slowly through all of the different labyrinthine tunnels into those that you found under the mountain in Wigos. This will bring you to the end of the day. I've been walking this mountain 12 hours. Get to the end of the labyrinth. You look ahead of you, you're quite sure what it is you're staring at. This sort of hanging podium is above you. It sort of hangs down to about 6 foot above you. And sitting on the podium is this sort of stone statue with its hands folded like this, chin resting upon them as it stares down at you. As you go to walk past it as a group, wags his finger. His stone mouth opens, you just hear these sort of ancient rasping voice going, one by one. One by one.
Well, at least this thing's telling us what to do, guys.
Tells you full fire. As Taran, a stone statue has just, which was sat
sorry.
with its arms like this, has just told you to all go one by one. And as you continue on one, Need Josh.
Gag.
Gad.
Absolute gaggery. I still want to know who the mastermind is.
Oh,
I feel like Rosa has
answers
a
are
nice little
so
beef with him.
close.
No, wait, Rosa has beef with him. He certainly doesn't know Rosa has beef. I don't think anyone else knows Rosa has beef, but Rosa wants to fight that person. That
You should serve it for breakfast.
Yes.
We've come to the end of the day. We will come to the timeless tradition of MVPs. And I shall start where I finished, and I believe that was with Joe.
Oh yeah, what did I write down today? Oh, you know what? I really, it's a silly minor thing, but I really enjoyed I really like the art of the one place I didn't actually get to see as Hennick. It was like one of the narrow paths that like jagged out into the distance. We went through so many pictures today, and that one was I really liked quite
Was it
a bit.
this one?
Yes, that's the one. Sometimes there's always like nice and like evocative, right, showing what you want in terms of the feel, but like often there's some sort of element that doesn't quite make sense or something like that, but this just seemed like perfect, and also I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, I think. All about that imagery, where a lot of the time nowadays I find myself doing it backwards. I'm not looking for the art that's in my mind. I'm looking for cool art that then gives me something to think
Right.
about how to do it. So it was one of the arts that actually inspired the way the path itself. Rico.
Gotta be this last dungeon and all the throwbacks to sessions past. Like, it's just awesome to be reminded of all that we've come through.
Yeah. So I mean, it's obviously part of the idea is it's inspired by Victory Road in Pokemon Red, by the way, where specifically where you get to the bit and they're like, show your badge to show you've passed X gym to be able to proceed.
Yes.
So that's sort of what it's inspired by. But the logic being that you have to have passed said trial to be able to continue up the hill.
Yeah, specifically the Crystal Caverns actually was the most like fun throwback to me, because that was a hell of a dungeon.
That was a dungeon and a half, wasn't it? It was a tough one. Jamel.
Well, I'm gonna have to go with Rosanna getting chucked into the fan chipper and losing the hand, and then Bruno just going with the baby hand. Just the thing on that.
The baby hand was a great touch. I enjoyed that. I like to think of it as the blender. I wanted to put Chiavo through it, but when Bruno said that Rosanna is just expecting everything to be fine, I thought, God, I've got to blend that bitch. Speaking of which, Bruno, your MVP.
And how did she turn out?
She was fine.
How did it turn out?
Well, it's a bit late to kill off your character with a blender, isn't it?
It's like she had prepared because she was working on regeneration and everything.
Yeah, I know, but part of me was just thinking, ooh, maybe I should just blend you proper.
No, I loved it. I thought it was like a way for you to showcase her new ability.
And you had made it
like
such.
that at all.
You had made it such.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, it's good for me. Yeah.
But your MVP.
I thought it was downright outrageous that before the session you were like, okay guys, we're not gonna focus on the Academy of Shara, we're just gonna, we're gonna move away from that plot point, and then mid-session, oh yeah, they're just enslaving people with enchantment crystals, and that's okay.
Yeah, and you left them there for that long, is my point. You liberated Robalan of the twins and never chased them down, and now you found out what they're up to, the dastardly bastards.
How can we not be interested in going there?
Oh, you're meant to be interested in going there, and regret, unfortunately, that you must save the world instead. Oh, what a tragedy. And that brings me to my MVPs, which include
bomb them, James. I will.
Pancake Mix, giving disadvantage on dex saves. I don't want to weigh us down with pancakes, Joe said, which I quite enjoyed. Was something you said as well, and I meant to write it down, I didn't, and then I regretted not writing it down because my notepad didn't open. It was something else that Joe said that made me laugh. Anyway, I really enjoyed you guys' approach to the imagination dungeon. I always like it when people sort of throw themselves in with me when I have this strange concept or idea, and you guys are like, yeah, do you know what, we're just going to jump on board with that, that's great. And also that you didn't just go, well, we're going to imagine a simple straight tunnel path, but in the end, the solution was to imagine it is just Sandringham. And that was a really cool moment for me. I really enjoyed the fact that it could be the Sandringham of old in your mind, and we could sit on that sort of gazebo balcony bit on the outside of Hennick's home, where he once, played the the mouth harp and told stories to you all, and you once had dinner, and go back to those memories. And yeah, it was definitely Throwback Sunday today, and I enjoyed that. I hope Josh doesn't feel like he missed too much, but he shouldn't have gone away. Silly fool. But anyway, that is where we're going to end. So if you guys would like to say goodbye,
Goodbye.
Bye-bye now.
we shall see you soon.